Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going on an intergalactic adventure to help a friend in need. But first, all the space critters are getting ready for another day in the aquarium belt. This is Bloop, a little space fish with big dreams and bigger fins. And if you look closely, you can see his glittery bubble trail sparkling behind him as he swims through the stardust. That's because Bloop has a very special ability. He can blow bubbles, but not just any bubbles. These are magical bubbles that allow him to travel across space. You see, these bubbles come from his bubble blower organ, which is powered by his happiness. And when Bloop giggles, his bubbles rise up his straw and out of his mouth, carrying his laughter along with them. As they float through the aquarium belt, they pass small stars that are dying out one by one. And whenever a bubble lands on a star, it gives it a little boost of energy. So even though they might be tiny, Bloop's bubbles are full of power. And now it is time for Bloop to get ready for another day of making stars giggle and exploring the universe. He tucks his fins in, wiggles his antennae, and blows a trail of bubbles behind him as he flies off to see his friends. Now, most mornings this would be the part where Bloop stops at a space station to refuel with some cosmic coffee and catch up on the latest space news. But today he's running late. So instead, he just waves to Larry the space slug and zooms past Sally the satellite without stopping. But something strange is happening. Usually when Bloop blows his bubbles, they leave a sparkly trail behind him. But today his bubble trail is completely gone. Bloop looks back, confused, and sees nothing but darkness following him. Oh my, he cries, without my bubble trail, I can't swim. Suddenly, Bloop begins to drift. At first, it's just a little shake, but then the whole universe seems to start spinning around him. He closes his eyes tight and drifts into a silent zone. He tries to make himself smaller so he won't be noticed. But sadly, without his bubble trail, Bloop isn't very good at hiding. And soon he feels himself being pulled closer and closer to a gigantic black hole. Its gravity is strong, but Bloop is even stronger. He strains every fin to swim away, but the black hole yawn keeps pulling him in. Soon he's surrounded by swirling darkness and hears a voice say, "Another meal for me." Bloop knows this is the end for him, and with that thought, he lets out a big blub. Now, luckily for Bloop, his blub wasn't swallowed by the black hole. Instead, it bounced off its surface and echoed through space. Soon, Bloop heard a familiar sound. It was the singing jellyfish meteor. "Hey, Bloop, what's wrong?" one of them asked. "No time to explain," he cried. "I'm being pulled toward that black hole yawn." Quickly, the jellyfish formed a glowing net and wrapped it around Bloop. Then they let their tentacles trail behind him, forming a rope of light that pulled him safely away from danger. "Bloop, are you okay?" asked another jellyfish. "My bubble blower organ must have frozen," he said sadly. "Without it, I can't make bubbles, and I'll never be able to visit my friends again."
"Hey, don't worry, Bloop," said one of the jellyfish.
I'll take you to the last warm star drop and you can use its power to reboot your bubble blower. But it's not gonna be easy. We'll have to fly through the asteroid belt, dodge sneezing gas clouds, and watch out for the giggling star eels. "Are you sure you're up for this, Bloop?" "I have to try," he said. It's wobbly, but he was determined to get his bubble trail back. So the jellyfish led him through a maze of space rocks and stardust fields, and they were almost there. But suddenly, a giant face appeared in front of them. It was the sleepy cosmic walrus who guarded the entrance to the marshmallow moon, where the star drop was kept. Well, another space traveler looking for the star drop," he boomed. "If you want to take it, you'll have to do me a favor first." "What do you want me to do?" Bloop asked. The walrus yawned widely, showing his big blue gums. "All I want is a nice, slow, sleepy lullaby." The walrus closed his eyes. And the jellyfish began to sing, "Hush now, little space fish. It's time for bed. The stardust is falling, the moon overhead is watching over you, little space fish, dreaming of glee." Bloop joined in, trying to sing as slow and softly as possible. But after a few lines, he started to giggle. "Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Walrus. It's just so hard not to be happy when we're on an adventure together," he said with a wink. The jellyfish continued to sing, and slowly the walrus began to cry. Big drops of jelly fell from his eyes as he sang along. When they finished the song, Bloop noticed that the walrus had fallen asleep. He looked down and saw that his tears had melted a chunk of ice blocking the door to the marshmallow moon. "Thank you for singing that beautiful song." "Bloop," said one of the jellyfish. "You really are the kindest space fish in the universe." Stepping inside, Bloop saw the warm star drop floating above a pool of sparkling water. He took a deep breath, dove into the pool, and swallowed the star drop whole. It tasted like sweet fizzy lemonade, and as soon as it hit his stomach, his fins began to glow. He took a deep breath and blew a huge bubble that echoed boop across the galaxy. "That's my sound," he cried happily. "I got my bubble trail back." But when he turned to thank the jellyfish, they were gone. Suddenly, the ground began to shake. The black hole yawn was awake, and it wasn't very happy. "Everyone run!" yelled Bloop. As they raced to the exit, the black hole chased after them, but Bloop was faster. He zoomed out of the cave and dodged between the asteroids just in the nick of time. Then he stopped. Looking back, he saw the black hole close behind him and knew he needed to act fast. He took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and blew a giant bubble right in its face. The black hole sneezed so hard it hiccuped Bloop all the way back out. Then it looked at the bubble trail floating inside its mouth and smiled. "You're right," it said. "A bubble bath is just what I needed." Bloop watched as the black hole relaxed, floating peacefully in a giant pool of bubbles. Maybe not all space monsters are scary, he thought. When he turned to go, he saw the singing jellyfish meteors waiting for him. "Hey, Bloop, you okay?" One of them asked. "Yeah, I'm great," he replied. "Let's head home so I can show you how my new bubble trail works." Once they were back in the aquarium belt, Bloop took a deep breath and blew a giant bubble. Then another one and another until he created a whole highway of bubbles floating through the stardust. All the space critters cheered as they took Bloop's advice and drew their own bubble trails, allowing them to zoom safely through the galaxy. When night fell, Bloop drifted off to sleep, floating gently between the stars, leaving behind a glowing, giggling trail of hope. And that's the end of today's adventure. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend. And make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an exciting episode.